Hello, welcome everybody. We're going to start in a couple of minutes. We will start in 5 minutes. Cinco, I forget how to say minutes. Cinco something. Because I want to start with at least, a few people up in here. But yo, yo, yo to all the best, right? AJ Blunt, God bless you, my friend. I'm going to go ahead and get some water and grab a few things. Oh, Infinite Plane, I didn't do your thing and I said I was going to. You know what? You know what? I want to do this right now, if I can. Oh man. Oh, I hate when I say something and I don't do it. Uh, okay, I gotta figure this out right now. Oh man. I have no idea how to do it. It's only giving me the option, right, to oh man. And I said I was gonna do it like immediately after the show yesterday. I feel awful about that. And send me a little text after the thing and I'll fix it. Because if I jump back on, but I might not, and so I don't want to risk. It's okay. All right, all right. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. I had kind of a weird ending. It was a good show. I thought it was great, really, but the ending was weird because there was a big drop off. Like, hey, what's up, BB? How you doing? I liked your stream yesterday. It was neat. Like I like streams where there's like no like you didn't really plan it. You just jumped on there and did it. And I liked it because like there was no real. I wasn't being pulled in any direction. Everything was happening organically, and it felt good. It was a refreshing stream. I mean, it was a little slow, right? But it was good though. I liked it. And I'm like super critical. So like, you know what I mean? So if I'm saying it's good, it's the truth. It's the truth. So yeah, yeah. Yeah. What did you say? We laughed, we cried, we played music. The whole the whole thing. Hey Sasquatch, what's up? Yeah, top of the day, man. Hey, look, for me it's early. I get started early. Well, I mean, I know, like, I sleep in shifts, a couple of shifts per day, like 2 hours here, 2 hours there. So I'm always like, if you message me, I will get back to you within a couple hours. Like, I'm available like that, which is kind of sad, but it's also cool. I think, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've known what cool was, like where I was like, okay, yeah, I'm the judge of what's cool here, and this is cool. Like I lost that ability to gauge, what the cool thing is, right? Or most cool thing. Now it's more like, what can I say to cause the least amount of damage, right? Like I hate having to be careful of what I say, right? But there's many layers why I'm careful, right? One is because we're on the internet, all this stuff lasts forever, right? Number two, it could all be used against us, right? Everything can be used against us, right? And number three, if I'm gonna speak, you know, if I'm gonna speak for God, or if I'm gonna speak for my application of God's word to myself, I have to be very, very careful what I say because it's got to be right. If I say the wrong thing, I'm going to be judged harshly for that, you know. And I'm not gonna I'm not gonna make any intentional mistakes if you know, that's just not gonna happen. So I'm careful on many layers, and then you add all this YouTube circus on top of it, right? This, you know, now I got to say, you know, jab or lance or vacation or potion and all this stuff, man, right? Now we're creating a whole nother language, more slang, making the Bible harder to understand, right, for the next generation. I mean, think about it, right? Like 20 years ago, if I said, you know, I'm going to go to the store for a minute, that's a very short period of time. But like now, if I say, oh yeah, I was at the store for a good minute, man, like now it's a long period of time, right? And so now what they're doing is they're playing like the pronoun game, right? Like he, she, right, is you know, now you could be a they, them, right? So now in the Bible, when it says God created him, her, God created they, them, right? Now it appears in the Bible that, right, that God created us to be that too, right? And so while the Bible is unchanging, right, and the Word of God, right, the words and terms and times and everything get changed all around it, right? Making it like more and more and more confusing, right? Which makes people tempted, right? To say, okay, well, I want to use a version of the Bible that's like easier to read, right? And I'll tell you what, I was a victim of that too. Like, um, I would pick the easiest version to understand because that old English was hard for me, you know, and you know all the thys and theys and all that stuff, right? And like I'm like, oh man, it's rough, right? But the more, this is what I'll say though, right? It's uncomfortable at first because it's not how we talk anymore, right? Or it's not how we talk in our daily life, right? But once you start reading it and you get used to it, right? Then it becomes the easiest book you've ever read in your life because there is no slang or like words mean what they mean, you know? And so while we talk in a way that's, you know, we take a lot of shortcuts, we talk in a lot of acronyms, we talk in a lot of slang, right? That's actually not good, you know? That actually makes it more difficult. And so television programs will do that too to us, right? Like um, there'll be a new way they talk on the show or something, right? So you'll be watching a show, and you know their whole thing is like, oh yeah, man, the bro code, man, the bro code, and now the bro code becomes part of your vocabulary. So you're talking like the people on TV, and they've changed your, you know, the way you talk. Or YouTubers, right? Like say like Owen Benjamin, right? We have a bear in here, right? You know, good or bad, I'm just saying it is what it is, right? Like they talk in a certain way. Oh, he's crushing, or oh, you know, you know, fancy pants, or you know, all these words, right? You know, your language changes, right? And so, yeah, Clutch. I mean, I'm not singling you out or anything like that. I'm just saying that. What's going on, Cindy? You're not doing well this morning. Aren't we all facing crap every day? Oh no. Oh, I feel horrible with about your dog, you know. It's tough. Oh yeah, Clutch Bear. Yeah, the only reason why I mentioned you, right, is because of, you know, the Owen Benjamin, right? Like how I use the example of his show is like, you know, it kind of changes the way you talk, right? Like there's certain language that only bears talk like, right? Like, you know, we were crushing the other day, or the small hats, or little lingo, right? Toe Rogan, all these little code words, right? That normal people would not know what you're saying. They'll be like, "What? What are you saying?" It just, good or bad, whatever, right? But I'm just explaining that the Bible is unchanging in its words and its meaning, right? But like what the devil will do is change all the words and slang and dates and times and all this stuff around it, right? Around it, to where, I mean, I mean, probably we know things, right? The right way, but like how do we know a month, right, isn't a year, right? Or a year isn't like, how do we know the meaning of that length of time, right? Like, when they say, there are times when they say week and they mean a very long time, there are times. So what I'm saying is that originally it said what it was supposed to say, and then as language changes around it, right, it makes it more confusing. And so if you can, right, go back to like the King James version, or I mean, obviously if you can learn Hebrew and Greek, right, go back to the original transcripts, right? But like, go back to the earliest version you can, and it's less slang. And so while it'll be uncomfortable at first, it'll eventually really be the easiest book you've ever read. Easily the easiest book you've ever read. And so but I like listening to it, I mean, you get more out of reading it. I don't know if what that's all about. But I know hearing the word of God increases your faith, and so I like to hear it. And plus, it does make me feel good, Like, I mean, you know, I'm not above saying that. Like, okay, I do things that make me feel good. I like to listen to the Bible because I feel good when I listen to it, and so I'm okay with that. But I mean, things are going to be the way they are, And it's like, man, it's like we're facing all these, you know, all these Bible channels that it seems like nowadays, right? Anybody can get a platform, right? I mean, look at me, right? Anybody can get a platform, and uh, start understanding the Bible in a different way, and then like have their own doctrine, right? And start their own, thing, right? And a lot of people aren't careful about it, right? Like, I'm very careful about it. Like, I take this very seriously, and I'm like very upfront with the fact that I'm not a teacher, and go go research on your own, go read it for yourself, don't listen to me, right? Because there are people out there that will tell you absolutely to listen to them, and that they are special in some kind of way, and that they're getting information that you're not getting, and some of them will even include money into that whole scenario, which is, I mean, even more horrific. Hey, Amanda. Hannah's here, Amanda's here, BB's here, Clutch Bear, AGM, yeah, Infinite Plane. I want to see if I make sure I say everybody. Cindy's here, of course. AJ, Sasquatch, of course, right? And AJ Blunt, he was first. Clutch Bear, I think I said Clutch Bear already. But all right. I think I got. If I missed you, right, it's not because. If I missed you, then I care about you the most. I'll say it that way. So if you were missed, then you're the most special here. So, but like, yeah, man. So I'm pretty happy with how the show went yesterday. But like I usually know how long I can hold an audience, and then it's like it's over, like I just don't, I'm not that interesting, right? Past a certain point. And so we kept it going, right? Because I don't mind going long and having, if we're having fun, And sometimes when you're having fun, or you bring up drama or whatever, like if it gets a little loose right at the end, then maybe it does grow a little bit even, and you don't want it to go too long like that, because then your channel will be the channel where it's like a circus, right? And you don't want that either. But we kept it going until like the count just kept going down and down until it was like me, AJ, and three other people. And so God bless the people that stayed till the end, But yeah, we weren't holding any listeners. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I don't even know what the actual formula is for like um holding people's attention, right? Like sometimes like I'll be saying something that I think is interesting, like, but I think it's more of a time thing. Like, how long can people really, like, because most of the time, right, when you have a channel, right, and you have subscribers, a lot of your subscribers will like click on, they'll say hi, right? Hey, how you doing? Just stopping in to say hi or whatever, and then they'll take off, and that's great. I love that kind of attention too, because it's somebody that cares about you, and it brings a good energy, right? But so like when it says like, okay, 20 in your chat, right? That's like your number that you're like maintaining, right? So like you might get 50 clicks in that whole time, right? But like, only 20 at a time were staying in your chat, or 12 or whatever. That's a good number for me. I like it when it's around 12, because then I know it's all strong people, Attention span of a goldfish. But yeah, no, but that's Cindy, but yeah, that's right. I mean, like that's how people are nowadays, though. There's nothing, weird about that. I mean, yeah, I mean, I have a longer attention span than that, but I mean, my kids, man, if they don't like something within a minute, like less than a minute, they're not going to give it a chance, It's like, oh yeah, well, I saw that. Nah, it's no good. I'm like, what? What do you mean it's no good, man? I just sent you something that's a classic, And oh no, Bullwinkle sucks, Dad. I'm like, what do you mean Bullwinkle sucks? Bullwinkle was like the best thing going back in the day, 12 is a good number, right? And like it's a Jesus type number, right? It's there was 12 disciples, right? And it like it's a good number, right? It's a good number. And usually when there's 12 in here, it's like I would say 80% of that 12, right? Uh, know the Bible better than me. So that's very good. Like I mean, that's who I want to talk to, right? That's what I like to talk about is God, and how much it's changed my life, because like what a relief, man. Like, could you imagine if we were still like in the rat race, right? With the way things are right now. I mean, I would probably already have taken the jab, because it's all about getting ahead, one life to live. You only got one shot. Have as much fun as you can. I mean, and like right now, I'm like in my mid 40s, right? Like, this is the time where like time's running out on my prime, right? Like my prime is over, right? But like, of course, I would be going through some kind of midlife crisis, trying to hang on. Who knows, man? I might like, if I, get to the age my dad was when he died, I'd probably like buy a Corvette or a Ferrari or something, like I'm the same age as my dad when he died. Like, here's my Ferrari. I probably couldn't afford a Ferrari. It'd probably be more like I don't know, Dodge Dart. and I have a huge payment with a lot of interest. But you know what, man, forget all that stuff, man. Like, I mean, I have the ability to upgrade my life to that next level, right? Like, but I mean, I live simple, man, and I'm happy. I don't need a bunch of stuff, man. Yeah, you know what? That's what's crazy, Cindy. I mean, uh, I thought, okay, because in high school, right, I had a very awkward junior high. Like I was coming, I became a man and looked weird. You know what I mean? Like for a few years, and I had a very hard time in junior high. But then when I got to high school, man, it like leveled out. Like I was like, a pretty decent looking dude, right? And I was friends with my best friend was like the coolest guy in school. I mean, it didn't make me the second coolest guy, but I mean, I was in that group. And I thought that like, oh yeah, it's my 20s will be even better, and I'll have all this time to be happy and popular or whatever. And man, did that window shut very fast for me. It was like open for a couple years, and then it's like then I wasn't cool. You know what I mean? It's like your beauty fades or whatever, and then way faster than you think it's gonna, right? And it's just it's insane, right? Like, because you're like, oh man, it's just I thought this would last longer, or I thought that there would be other times that were better. And so who knows, right? Who knows how any of it is supposed to end up being or end up. I mean, there's really so many variables in life, right? Like, how do we know, right? How it's gonna be, and that's why I'm like scared for people nowadays, right? Like, I know where I'm gonna go. If all I had to worry about was just me, just myself, right? Well, then I'd be fine. I would just kick back, man. I would just, you know what I mean? Just do my best for God, right? You just try to make Him happy, and everything else wouldn't matter. But you know where the stress comes in is the stress I feel for other people not being able to make it, or other people not knowing the truth, and they won't be able to make a fair decision because they believe things that aren't true. And that's what breaks my heart, right? That's the only thing that makes you grieve, right? And then of course you got, I mean, goes without saying, right? You factor in your children, right? Because I mean, my children are basically me. That's me right there. I mean, they're their own person, but when I look at them, I see myself, at their age. And yeah, I mean, all I want is for them to skip over all the mistakes that I made, because like I could easily skip them over a lot of pain, but that's not how it works. That's the crazy part, because like you go to your kid, right, and you're like, oh, okay, just skip over this one part, and don't, but it doesn't work like that. They got to see it. They got to see it. With my youngest one, I try it a lot. Like, hey, just if this isn't working out for you, just don't do it anymore. And some things he had to learn the hard way. And that's the hardest thing, is watching your kid knowing that they're not going to, not like what something they're doing isn't going to work out, and you kind of have to do nothing about it, right? Like you told them, right? They know you've done everything you can, but if you keep repeating it, all it's going to do is push them away. So they got to kind of go through it and figure it out on their own. And what did your husband sing to his? What did your husband sing? Um, I used to sing that song from Aerosmith, that "Don't Want to Miss a Thing" or whatever, to my oldest son. But I used to like go into his I used to go into his room like when he was just a baby, and he slept through the night from when he was a baby. Like, I mean, he was just such a good kid, you know. And I would go into his room and I would uh, sing to him and tell him that he was like the greatest specimen, you know, to ever live, right? Like, like that he was gonna surpass every you know dream I had for him, you know. And to be honest, like, and you know, I'm pretty objective about this, but he's been exactly what I dreamed him to be, you know. Like, I'm not like in no way, shape, or form have I ever been disappointed in him. I don't even think he's ever seen me angry. But my oldest one, my youngest son, seen me mad one time, but most of the time I'm in very much in control of my emotions around them. But yeah, man, kids are amazing because they teach you so much about. Not only do they teach you about, you know, just them as children, right? Them as people, but they teach you about what situations you were in at their age and what it really looks like to other people, right? Like, oh, wait, I remember being that age feeling like I was grown, you know, like a grown man, and that I had it all under control and I wasn't scared of anything. And I should have been scared, you know, like there were things to fear, you know, and it gives you a good perspective on life because they really teach you about life and your own life as you know your own childhood mistakes you've made, things you could have done better, things like that, right? And sometimes they surprise you and do things that you know are far better than you've ever done, you know, and so it's impressive. Would you like to come on and tell your story, Cindy? I'll drop a link if you want. If you just want to tell that story and that's it, you know, I won't pressure you to say anything more. It's up to you. I would love. Hey, if anybody wants to jump on for 10 minutes, I'm cool with that. What I really need to do is find another co-host. You know, that's one thing I got to do because this is really a two-man job. You know, and with somebody to banter with, this could be a really good show. Like I'm not just saying that because it's my show, but it could be a really good show if there was somebody to banter with that was good. You know, and you know, it's an open door to people that if they want to give it a shot. The only thing that I would say is like a necessity, right? Is that you know we have to agree on salvation, right? That salvation is for everybody, right? And it's through faith in Jesus Christ, you know. Because I don't want people coming here and getting a message that's not a life-saving message, you know. I would not be able to live with myself for that. So if we agreed on salvation and hopefully a lot more than that, then you know, then it would be good, you know. And so I don't know. It's up to you guys. If one of you want, and especially one of the ladies, man, like either way, you know, like you know, I think it would be good, you know. But Cindy, you don't? Do you want to tell your story about the story about singing a song or something? I think that'd be cool. Oh, you're cooking French toast? What? I love French toast, man. I don't eat sugar anymore, but I have to be very careful about my diet because I had stomach problems, you know, in the past. But um, I did love French. I do love French toast, you know. But yeah, man, I think like if this show was like if there was one other person and you know it was like you know someone good that was solid with some good ideas, you know that speaks clear and good to banter with. This show would be awesome. I think. I don't know, man. I just think about how it is for you guys. Like I don't mind working 2 or 3 times harder on it. I just want it to be good for you guys and for you guys to have fun in the chat and have a place to go that's safe where people are gonna respect you and you're safe and someone's gonna stick up for you publicly. You have that here. And yeah, there's some people that come in here with some off the wall beliefs, right? But you know, I don't want to have an echo chamber where everyone is just a robot, right? It's good to see people with some off the wall beliefs to see how they act, and it's way different. It's a way different kind of life. It's more unsure. It's more sporadic. There's a lot of anger, right? In people. And so you'll see it. Like you'll see people acting different, and it's good to see that once in a while, right? And it's also good for them that maybe if they hang around us, right, that that they might get what we have, and that's really like my only real motivation or agenda with people, right, is that I want them to feel the peace I feel inside, right? And so I just want everyone to feel happy, and to feel secure that they're going to make it, because it changes your whole life, right? Because you're not thinking about that next move or what else you can accumulate or, any of that stuff, right? You're just thinking about, oh, the kingdom is coming, right? And I'll be as happy as I ever want to be then, right? And so right now, like if my life is dead, let's say I am a bit of a shut in, it's my choice, right? And because let's say I don't want to go out and be in the world and pretend like things are real, right? So if I dedicate my life to just trying to reach people and try to bring the message of Jesus, that's fine, and that's what my life will be about, and so I look at the clicks, right? I know, I'm pretty good at figuring out the formula of like, okay, if I get this many clicks, this is how many new people I probably got, and it's if the show is good, people will share it, and like I am a flat earther, right? I mean, no doubt about that, right? I own that, right? But I try to limit that sometimes because it could be triggering to be able to share that with somebody that is in your family. Like maybe I want to say things that'll just slightly wake people up, you know, things that'll make you think at least, like why were all the moon missions named after the Antichrist, Why are the dimensions of the Washington Monument, 555 feet across and 555 feet, I'm sorry, 555 feet across and 5,555 feet tall, right? Well, if you times that by inches, right? If you put it in inches and not feet, times it by 12, those fives become sixes. And then, and then it makes it, then it makes you really think, right? You're like, okay, so I see what they're doing there, That's not by accident. This is like easy to look up information on Google, Like Event 201 is something you could Google and read. Anybody who has read Event 201, right? And I know that I'm going to have to delete this stream now because I said that. But like anybody that has read that, right, can't possibly believe that all this stuff is real. Because they were talking about it a year before it happened. I mean, doesn't that like at all like make I mean, isn't that alone enough reason to like question things, I don't know. Okay, Cindy, you can tell me that story on, and I'll share it with the crowd if you want. It's just it's just crazy, man. This world is just so inverted. I was thinking about, and I don't like to think of this example because it's hard for me to bring it up because I know it causes a lot of people pain on both sides, and then some people don't even think it's real or whatever, right? But like the thing that happened in Germany in the 40s, right? And so, do you know how like back when Jesus was walking the earth, the whole nation of that nation, they put Jesus to death, one perfect man to death, right? A whole nation of people put a perfect man to death, right? Well, then the opposite, right? The complete inverted opposite of that would be one evil man, right? Putting that whole bunch of people to death, right? Like it's inverted in a way where you almost, why is the world like that? Why is the narrative like that where things have got to be always the exact opposite of certain other things? Yeah, go ahead, Amanda. You can ask a question anytime you want. I'm cool with that. Sorry about bringing that up. I'm uncomfortable talking about it because there are a lot of people that have real feelings surrounding that. And I get that. And I don't know anything, right? I haven't studied it, so I don't know. But I can imagine. So what was the question, Amanda? Hey James, how you doing, man? I'm glad you're here, buddy. Were you here before? Because I didn't see you earlier. I guess you just showed up. Man, I've known James as long as anybody, as long as AJ probably. Like I've known, shoot, probably 4 years. You were around in 2017, right? Like when uh, Flat Earth debate, when they were getting porn bombed and all this other crazy stuff, right? Um, hey Diana, I don't remember if I seen you before. I think maybe I seen you one time before. Welcome. So what's the question? Okay, it says I know someone that don't believe in God. Should I still be with that person? Well, I mean, Amanda, it's up to you, right? Like for me, I want to be equally yoked with somebody, right? Like I'm not really looking for a relationship, but if I was, right, I would want somebody that's in love with God and in love with my kids, right? I mean, that's the minimum, right? But if you're with somebody, right, and Paul talked about this, right? Like if your mate is a non-believer and you are a believer, don't just leave them because of that. Especially if they want to stay with you. I mean, really, the hope is that you can help them to be a believer. But I guess it depends, right? There's so many variables to that question, Amanda. Like, how is this person treating you? Is this person, destructive in your life, or is this person helping you build up, or does this person have a plan for you? Or there's so many other um, questions, right? But I would say that just initially, the way you asked it. Paul talks about it in, I think, in Romans, right? Where it's either in Romans or the letter to the Corinthians, where if you're with somebody that's not a believer, that's not like I mean, you don't have to leave them for that. So, if that's your question, one of these people here that know the Bible better could tell you exactly where to find that. And see, Clutchbear has a point too, because personally, I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't. I would want to be equally yoked. But yeah, Diana makes a good point. There's so many variables in it, right? Because like you gotta like really consider, how does this person treat you? How does this person treat the people in your life? Like, does it improve your life? Are you able to help more people? You know, maybe because of this person, you'll be able to reach more people, um, to help them be believers. You know, and so we're all on our walk in a different place, right? Like I know where I am with God. Like I have no doubts, right? Like you know, I've like done enough research now to where I'm sure of it, you know. But I know that there's a lot of people that are, you know, haven't even got to the point where they can even fully believe it yet, you know. It doesn't mean that they are not gonna, right? It just means that they're not there yet. But I'll say this, if a person really is seeking to find God, um, they will find it, you know. Yeah, Cindy, that's a good point. You know, you don't want to be unequally yoked, but like, you know, Paul did mention it though. And so when Paul said it in one of the letters to the churches, you know, I'm sure it was an issue there too. But yeah, I mean, equally yoked is definitely important. But like I was saying yesterday, so many things have so much nuance to it, right? That there are a lot of yes and no's in the Bible, but sometimes it could be a trap, you know, to think of it like that. You know, the rules are put in place to benefit us, you know. Um, you know, that's the best way I could say it, you know. I believe the Bible is 100%. Not only is that my go-to, Sasquatch, but it's the only truth that I know. It's the only truth that I know. And I like how the no, hey, but you know what, Sasquatch, by telling somebody that, right? That truth, right? Which is hard to say, right? Hey, this is what you should read. It's the truth, the only truth. I mean, it's a life-saving situation. You're giving that person a chance to save their life, right? They might not like it at first, right? And they might react to even you bad in a bad way, or even hate you for it, right? But is that better than just, you know, oh, okay, yeah, everything's great, you know, everyone's got their own little path, man, it's cool. And, you know, you're smiling with this person knowing that, you know, it's going to be bad for them, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. You're right. I pray about everything. I mean, I pray about everything. I mean, I think God wants to be part of everything in your life, you know? Like it's not like God doesn't have time. You know what I mean? God has infinite time for everybody. You know, and so, but there's so many like there's so many questions or whatever that are answered in different ways in different places in the Bible with different scenarios, right? And they're not contradictions, right? It's just a different something different in the equation, you know. And so there is an answer for everything that you want in the Bible. There is. And but don't let anybody with a holding a Bible trap you into saying something, and then you know say, oh, okay, well if you're saying that that's the way it is, then look over here. It says this. You know, to try to confuse you. You know, I know Sasquatch is not going to fall for that, but somebody you know younger in their faith could fall for that. And see, like I used to think that everybody holding the Bible, man, was just like, oh man, this guy loves God, man. Obviously, he's got the Bible right there. You know, he seems nice. He's all dressed up, got a tie on. I mean, you know, they seem nice, right? But They just want to confuse you, man. In fact, that's their tool to get you, you know? And so, like, a lot of people will say, you know, the church has done this, 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 and this. That's why I don't believe in God. But church is separate from God, right? Like the churches nowadays, right? There's a lot of churches that I look at them as like controlled opposition. They're giving you an image of God that's not real, you know, like some authoritarian God that you better make them happy, you know. And yeah, he likes it when we follow the rules because it benefits us, you know. But it's like there's some things, you know, that people over exemplify or get wrong, or I don't know. It's just I think you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and you know what? That's the thing, right? I'm okay with calling myself a Christian. I used to say like, oh well, don't call me Christian. I'm just a follower of Christ or whatever, and I believe the Bible 100%, and that's what I believe, you know. But I mean, it does call us Christians in there. Like we can do that. I'm okay with it now. Like you can call me a Christian, but it's like it's like I'm not a part of any the church I belong to is you know the church of following Jesus, you know, like I believe in God, right, the true God, you know, and um, if I got any of it wrong, I desperately want to be right, you know. Yeah. Well, the only thing I'm sure of is that the Bible is true and that Jesus died for my sins, right? Like my interpretation of the Bible, I'm pretty sure about, right? Like I'm pretty sure about. I'm willing to die for it, you know. But I'm definitely sure Jesus died for my sins, right? And I'm definitely sure nothing predates God. I'm definitely sure I'm created, right? And that the Bible that I have is the truth because it comes true every day. And like, like things in it happen like in life. I can't explain it, but I know that like my personal being is wrapped up in reality. I am a factor in everything, you know, just like you guys are, you know. And I think the devil just wants to waste our time, get us thinking about stuff that's, you know, not of God, right? Because the less we're affected by any other distraction, and the more we focus on God, right? The more clear you can see just how special you are. You know, like I would say we're kind of like royalty. Like we're like we're very special. Like to even be made is you're special, right? But then there's very few of us that are gonna move on, right? And that's not because it's difficult to move on. It's just because there's the majority of people will not choose it, you know. It's a gift that you can choose. You know, it like God like you have to accept that God is God, right? And confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, right? You have to do that and accept that, right? And then accept the gift of salvation, right? Like it's for everybody, but not that many people will take it, you know, and that's their business, you know. It's not because we're special and they're not, right? I mean, yes, we are in a way, yeah, but like they could be special too, you know, if they wanted. It's fair for everybody, you know. And yeah, I might hear about God a million times, and someone might hear about God once in their life, right? But the time that they hear about it may be so profound, you know what I mean, that it'll outrank every time I've heard about it, you know, like you know, we don't know what God knows, right? My little peanut brain doesn't know anything, you know. Yeah, the church is the people. That's true. That's absolutely true. Church is the people, you know. And so, yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard to wake people up, man. You know, like I was caught up in this thing like a year ago where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try to wake up as many people as I can, you know. But it's just I'm just causing more and more people to really hate me. I think it's like there's just very few people that can even hear the truth, right, without being triggered, you know? Because some people just don't want to hear the truth, man. They don't. They would rather, like, even if they knew the truth, they would still rather believe what they believe, you know? Yeah, I don't even know if scales on their eyes. Yeah, there is scales on their eyes for sure. But even more than that, I think that they just love the lie more. Because I know that there's people that know that the earth is flat inside. They just can't admit it. They just, it's too hurtful. But they know it's not real. Like, once you snap out of the brainwashing, right, of TV and all that, it's obviously not real. I don't even know how I ever believed it. But when you're in it, it's you're like, you not only do you believe it, but it's brilliant. You're like, wow. Tell me how light bends again so I could see that perfectly flat thing over there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like, you know, you're in it, right? So everything seems real, you know? But once you snap out of it, right? Like, you know, you snap out of it, it's like, yeah, then you're like, oh man, we are, how did I ever believe we were flying around? Like, not only is it not happening, it's obviously not happening. We're not moving. Like, that's obvious. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right, Sasquatch. I mean, if Jesus didn't say how it was going to be, I would be very like scared and upset and disappointed in the world. Like, I am disappointed that the adults in my life when I was a kid didn't have it more together. Yeah, I mean, reaching adulthood and realizing that people didn't have it under control like I thought was a scary feeling. But even before I was really into God, you know. I wasn't raised where I wasn't raised in a religion. I mean, my mom was Christian, but she wasn't like very outspoken or anything like that. It was like I could have been whatever I wanted to be, you know. It was very loose what I was. I'm kind of glad that I had that choice, but I definitely wouldn't have minded being just a Christian my whole life and knowing the truth my whole life. You know, I wish I would have known the truth my whole life, to be honest. But you know, it is what it is. You know, I think it takes what it takes for us to get here. Yeah, all things are possible. You're right, man. Everything you're saying is hitting my spirit, Sasquatch. Everything you're saying. Yeah, Clutch Bear. You know what? Part of me knew it was a little, a little sketch. Some things are a little sketchy, but it did still surprise me. You know, like I didn't want to know that this wasn't right. That's right, man. Most people don't even understand salvation. I mean, they don't understand about forgiveness, right? The reason that they don't believe salvation is about forgiveness is because they don't want other people to be saved. If they cared about other people the way they care about themselves, right? If they would want everybody to be saved, including them, and they would see how easy and simple it is. But the people that want to keep people out want it to be about making up for things and earning it and that kind of thing because they have a desire to be special or above, right? People that understand salvation, right? This is why I think only a certain amount of us can accept the gift, right? That it is this simple and just a certain amount of people can accept it because if you understand that you are forgiven for a lot of stuff, you can sympathize with people that sin that really in their heart they don't want to be sinners, right? And so, like, yeah, you get eyes to see and even a heart to feel other people. And you realize that they need forgiveness too, you know, just like we did. And yeah, there are people that are evil that probably will not get saved, right? Just because that's how, I mean, they're evil. So they would have to be so much of a change. I mean, it could happen, right? But it would be very difficult for them to get to that point. And so I think people just want certain people not to make it. So they don't see it for themselves how easy it is. Because everything that you put on other people or judge to other people gets measured back to you. right? And so your understanding of God will be kind of connected to your understanding of other people and how you treat other people. If you love God with all your heart and you love other people the way you love yourself, right? You will start understanding as much about God as you want. You know? Because there's no way I should know what I know about God. There's no way. I didn't put in, like, I mean, I put in a lot of time now for the last few years, probably a lot of time, tons compared to most Christians, but like, I mean, in reality, I shouldn't know what I know. Not in 4 years of reading the Bible. And I can't tell you, like, I don't know when the little special moment's going to come out because I'm not in control of it. Like, it's not a skill that I learned, right? It's not my own, uh, thing to brag about or anything. It's just a certain understanding at certain times. It comes through for me, you know? And yeah, I guess God does know your heart because, if you treat other people right, and um, you can feel and understand for their disappointment and their hurt and their struggle, right? And you're not always thinking about yourself, right? It does make it easier for you to know yourself because it's like Chinese finger cuffs, right? The more you focus on you, the harder it is to figure yourself out. I don't know what I'm even saying right now. That didn't make sense. But anyway, I'll say this. Um, I'll just say this. I love you guys. I'm super happy I was able to hold 12 of you for an hour. And, it's a real blessing. You guys are a real blessing to me. And so I'll just say, God bless you and praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. And, pray for the kids, right? And, I had a friend that lost a baby and lost her boyfriend too, like a week after. And she's having a tough time. So let's pray for her to, for her to see the open doors that God is opening up for her, And so, that's all I'll say about that. I love you guys. And of course, I'll hear from you guys today, some of you. And the rest, I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Yeah, all the best. All right. Thank you.